The law of attraction, is it real? Do I believe in it personally? And can it help your life? These are all things that I'm going to dive into in this video. And if you stick around, hopefully you'll learn something too. So the first thing is it real? Now, to even dive into a question like that, you really have to get down to the bottom of, well, what is real? What do we consider real in some falsifiable way scientifically? The short answer, no, it's not. It can't be verified. So this ultimately is more of a faith-based question. Some levels of empirical evidence that you could probably put into different examples of people who have that mindset and then what they maybe achieved. But then a lot of it you will have a hard time attributing to a quote-unquote law. What did that person do in their life to manifest what they set their intentions out for? So is it real? I don't know that you can really answer it with such a definitive way of answering it. I think a better question of whether it's real or not is it real enough? And I think, to me personally, as somebody who's fairly skeptical, I'm a spiritual person, so there are some things that I believe this universe is pretty magical, and in a lot of the ways that things play out, naturally, you're going to have some weird things that there's no such thing as a coincidence for those H3 fans. What I would say is it is real enough to me, and not so much in it that it is a law, but it is more so that it is a mindset and an intention that is being set with then specific actions that must be taken in order to manifest the reality. I find that the general concept of putting something out into the universe and getting something similar in return, I believe in that concept, but more from a practical standpoint. If I'm putting good things out into the world, it is only natural for me to eventually expect something good to happen in return. And you shouldn't be doing it for expecting the returns, but you do it knowing that, I don't know, you do some good things for people, people are going to want to do good things for you. And you should want to do good things for people just for the sole purpose that it's helpful to people and that it's good for other people and it's good for humanity and society. But at the same time, know that, like, yeah, you'll probably get it. It'll come back around. It'll probably help you. At the same time, obviously, horrible people do horrible things, get away with it, live a long ass life. Look at Henry Kissinger, you know? So obviously, it's not a law is kind of the way that I look at it, but it is a good way of looking at the world. It is a good way of setting out intentions and putting out what you want into the world and doing your best to reciprocate that and have the universe reciprocate that for you as well. So one thing I really want to get into specifically is actually all about how setting your intention can very tangibly help create a reality or help manifest. Because as much as there can be a little bit of woo-woo elements to it, and there can be a little mystical stuff that, you know, there's a lot of things that happen in the universe that cannot be explained. And in this case, what I'm talking about is when you set an intention for something and you see it and you visualize it in your mind, you're going to be able to recognize the beginnings or early stages of that dream becoming a reality. When that door of opportunity begins to open, you're going to recognize that door. Have you ever noticed that when you buy a car and all of a sudden you start noticing, like, there's my car, and there's my car, and there's my car. You never noticed this car before, right? But now that you bought the car, all of a sudden you're seeing this car on the road everywhere. Now you're thinking, man, everybody's got the same car as me. I can't believe I never noticed this before. Well, that's because you were not attuned to notice it. Our minds specifically will ignore things if our attention has not been drawn to it. And in fact, it's a strategic thing, right? Our minds are only supposed to notice certain things. It's supposed to identify threats. It's supposed to notice the things that we've attuned our attention towards. So if we have an attention that is set specifically towards the goal that we have in our mind, the thing that we want to achieve, that means that you are going to start noticing all of the different things that you were not noticing before because you tuned into that frequency. And I say that stuff with the quotes because I understand that there's going to be some skeptical people that are going to be like, yeah, okay, whatever, man. But the reality is that regardless of whether it's a law or if it's objectively true or not, if you have your attention set on a very specific thing and you focus that attention, do different tasks and actions that move you closer to this goal, you are going to see it. You're going to recognize opportunities that if you weren't tuned into that frequency, if you weren't tuned into knowing that that is what you wanted to achieve, well then of course, you're going to let those opportunities pass you by without realizing that they are right in front of your face. And that blindness that we have if we are not attuned to something is something that you can think about in any aspect of your life. So I really like to think about it from the standpoint of a practical nature, right? I don't need to believe in the mystic. I don't need to believe in the woo-woo, although I will say I got one foot in that door and one foot out. But I don't need to believe in those things for there to be a practical strategy to manifesting something, to tuning my frequency to the thing that I want to have happen, right? So for some people it might seem like magic, and for the more magically minded people who are more religious and more spiritual, it's really fun to attribute to God or the universe, and in fact could be for them very true, and that is totally fine. I don't think it really matters, you know, where the belief comes from, right? I personally am not religious, but I am spiritual, and I do believe in the magic of the universe. I really do. I've had too many things that are too coincidental for me to just think that it's all just chance. I do think that there is some sort of feedback loop where if you put good things into the world, good things come back to you. Because from my standpoint, it doesn't really matter if the law of attraction's real or real, whatever that even means. What matters is, are you able to set an intention, create the world that you want to live in, manifest your vision of what your daily life should look like? And are you able to achieve those things? If you're able to think about it, take actions towards it, and manifest that into reality, then that's as real as it needs to be, you know? That's as real as anything is. So to me, our thoughts are powerful. Everything that we think about does change the language that we use. The way that we think about things, the way that we speak about things directly will relate to how you feel about those things and the actions that you take towards them. So from a very practical standpoint, your thoughts do become reality. And the way that you think about things can either limit or completely shatter the limits of what you are capable of. So for me, the law of attraction is as real as it needs to be, regardless of whether it's actually a law. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, and watch my last video, which is about meditation. Peace.